I should have queued up the Vincent Price laugh because we're talking about a movie on Horror Hole. I'm Wyatt, and who is here with me today, as always?
And I'm Cannibal Cody here with Wicked Wyatt, and we're talking about Fright Night.
Yes. This is one of those, like, cult classic movies that I've heard of but never actually watched until now. First impressions, awesome. I absolutely loved this movie.
Yeah, really fun, classic horror story.
Yeah, so this was like one of those movies that was as good as all the 80s nerds said it was, you know?
Yeah.
Like, it actually, it reminded me a lot of, and maybe we'll do this at some point, but Teenage Werewolf in London, or whatever. I was a werewolf in London, like whatever the fuck.
American Werewolf in London.
American Werewolf in London. There was a bunch of those. Where I know the director murdered children or whatever, but it's like a pretty good movie. So, so we'll have to cross that bridge when we either talk about that or the Twilight Zone movie from the 80s. But
we'll probably just talk about American Werewolf in London.
Yeah. But I think as far as Twilight Zone movies go, I don't know if it counts as horror, but like Planet of the Apes, that was originally supposed to be a Twilight Zone movie.
Really?
Yeah, because in this movie we're talking about actually has a Planet of the Apes connection.
Because Roddy McDowell?
Yes, because he's what's his name? What's his name? Cornelius in Planet of the Apes. I fucking love those movies. Yeah, you're like, oh, I just need to put a little bit of ape makeup on him, and
exactly.
You know, yeah.
And I think he was in. I'm pretty sure he was the professor in Shockma. The movie with the
yes.
The monkey condition.
A lot of primate stuff going on there. But yeah, I don't know if Planet of the Apes would count as like a horror movie. And technically, we did do it for podcasts of the Planet of the Apes on with Nikki years ago. But maybe at some point we'll get to that.
I just tangentially, because I know we're off topic already, but I did go and watch all 4 of the modern movies, and all of them I thought were pretty good.
Yes, I think for the Planet of the Apes movies, like the first one is pretty good. Then the 2 after are really, really good. And then the most recent one is like, it's okay, but it's not as good as the War for the Planet of the Apes or Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, I believe is the second one, which is probably my favorite, though it's kind of a toss-up between that and War, because War is so like it is like depressing as fuck. It's almost like a Jesus movie in a way because of how how much suffering Caesar goes through. But anyway, we're here to talk about Fright Night. How about you? Like we already brought it up a little bit, but what is your history with this movie, and how do you feel about it?
So I had actually never seen this movie before, but I had seen the 2011 remake.
Ooh.
Me and my mom actually saw it in theaters, so I did have like a frame of reference for this movie. And now we're at the point where it's been so long since I saw the remake, I don't know like which one I would prefer, because I do remember that remake being really good. My only real thing going into it was like, okay, so I remember the vampire moved next door, and in the remake it was Colin Farrell, and he was really sexy.
Yeah.
So I was like, I don't know if he's going to be sexy in the original. And, well, he was. I
was going to say, they got one of the hottest guys possible to be this vampire, which is funny because he's Humperdinck from Princess Bride. He's the like dweeby prince from Princess Bride. Okay. So and I looked at him in that, and I'm like, it must be the outfit in this movie that kind of brings it all together, because he is way hotter here than he ever was in that movie. So
because I was like, I recognized him from somewhere. It wasn't from Princess Bride. He was also, because this movie is directed by a guy named Tom Holland, not Spider-Man Tom Holland, of course, but Tom Holland also directed the very first Child's Play movie, and the actor who plays Jerry the vampire, he was the detective who's like is working with Andy's mom and like starts to believe her at the end.
Oh my god, he also did previous episode topic, The Langoliers.
Holy shit.
Yeah, that's crazy that he,
Mhm.
yeah, made for TV
That
movie, so
guy.
obviously it was a much weaker budget and everything, but just kind of crazy
Mhm.
that he went from those kind of movies to this. So,
Mhm. But yeah, we just kind of want to jump into it, I guess.
God,
So
David
the
Tennant is in this movie. What the fuck? Oh! I
oh
was
no,
looking at
he's
the
in the
the.
remake.
Okay, yeah, yeah.
David Tennant plays Roddy McDowall's character in the remake,
Oh, that
and
is such a good. That's such a good call,
in,
honestly, because
instead
he's
of
so he's like this guy is very Doctor Who esque. He feels very much like the Sixth Doctor or something. Um,
in the remake, he's less of like a Vincent Price horror host, and he's more of like I don't think he was a TV character. I think he was like a Chris Angel esque magician or something like that.
okay, that's funny. I do want to say that I laughed pretty hard when I heard that his name was Peter Vincent. And then I was like, haha, that must be a reference to Vincent Price. And then I looked it
Hmm.
up and it's like, no, no, no. It's a reference to Vincent Price and Peter Cushing.
Yeah.
So it's a double reference to horror icons. So
Hmm.
very good.
Uh, we should at some point we should talk about some of those old uh, Dracula movies
Yeah, I think that
because
this is breaking the ice as far as that goes on like vampire movies and like no like kind of monster type movies because we've done like some ghost movies. We've done the like more modern, the quote unquote elevated horror. Um, but we
yeah,
haven't
I'd say the
done
closest is
yeah
like I guess Nope is kind of a monster
yeah
movie.
because that's
Um,
like but that's more of like a I mean we've talked about it but it's similar to a kaiju movie but it's also
yeah.
at least more in line with like a creature of the Black Lagoon, like that kind of like a monster that's just like a
Hmm.
wild beast rather than something that is like stalking with agency. You know what?
Consciously evil. Yeah.
Yeah, you know what this movie really reminded me of? Another thing that we talked about before, fucking Salem's Lot.
Salem's Lot. Yep.
Yeah. I know that it's probably just similar tropes across the genre of vampire, like modern vampire fiction, but there are so
Hmm.
many things in it that made me think of Salem's Lot in a good way. I do want to say because I did
Yeah.
really enjoy this movie, but
Like
especially the idea that the cross only works if you have faith in it.
mhm.
Like if you don't believe in it, like otherwise in a lot of other stuff, it's just like oh the cross by its existence is holy, so therefore it will hurt a
Yeah.
vampire or a demon or something. But I like excuse me the more like modern take of it that it only had that ability because of our belief that it did,
Hmm.
which is it's a thing in Salem's Lot. It's also a thing in It, which I know you just reread. Just like that
One of
power.
many books I've been going through, but
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. But it's like just I love that the idea that like mind over matter kind of like our ability to like believe and put our faith in something like is what gives it power rather than it having
Hmm.
any like inherent power. Like we are the makers of the universe basically like through our own
Hmm.
perceptions. Just super cool stuff. uh
Yeah. It's just I love vampire stories, and I never really am like because my favorite horror is like a slasher, but I'm like oh
mm,
I love a good vampire story, and I think it's because it's always fun to see how the rules get reinterpreted. Like
yeah,
for me, it's always whenever a vampire story, for example, doesn't have like they need to be invited into your house, like, or they ignore that. I'm always like, no, that's like such like an important thing that's missing.
mm-hmm.
Or like some vampire stories, they'll like poke fun at the belief that garlic can stop them. But I
Yeah,
like it when the garlic is actually effective. You know what I mean?
absolutely. Yeah, that like to me that's so much cooler because I don't know, like it
It's cool
doesn't
to have
care.
rules for your monster.
Yeah, exactly. Like there's something like really cool about the moments where Jerry is actually scared of the cross or like something that they're doing because it makes it because he's so cool. Like he's so
Yeah.
like on top of the world and especially like at night he like is the lord of the night. That's kind of they like do a really good job. We're just kind of going everywhere with this whatever. We don't need to like go through it in order. But he's just like so in control of the situation during those scenes where they like, leave his house after trying to reveal that he's a vampire and failing, and then
Mm-hmm.
just like those scenes at like the dark streets at night it's just, this is a very campy movie, but it genuinely is very like tense and like uh you know like it gets under your skin, just the idea of
Mm-hmm.
this stuff. They're able to like take this very old school horror thing and still play it like basically completely straight when it needs to be played, and
Mm-hmm.
it has like as effective of horror as anything else from this era.
The one in particular image that like really stuck with me is it was like towards the end, and again, yeah, we're jumping all over the place, but there's the character Amy, who is the
Mm-hmm.
main character's love interest,
Mm-hmm.
and towards the end, like when we first get like the really big reveal of her like vampire form, where she has like this prosthetic that makes her mouth look fucking huge.
Yeah, it's
It,
really
it,
cool.
yeah, it looked really cool. It was scary. It was creepy.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, this whole movie, it feels like it also kind of reminds me of like an old EC comics
Yeah.
like story, like a classical like 50s or 1940s like vampire story of just like
Mm-hmm.
this kid who has a vampire moving next door to him, and then of course nobody believes him. Which is
Mm-hmm.
just like a classic setup of just a character with an issue that nobody is willing to buy into,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Yeah.
because it makes like not just the central threat be an antagonistic force, but like everybody else around him is also like a hindering the main character's goal.
Yeah, and that is very true in it, which we're
Yeah.
making a lot of comparisons to Stephen King, but just like, I don't know, he's the king of horror, so what are you gonna do?
Hmm.
But like, yeah, just I love that where it's like, and he kind of like worked it into the meta narrative as well, or like the overall like world building of Derry. Uh,
Hmm.
that just made me remember that there was that scene in 11/22/63 where the main character goes to Derry, and I was like, this is really fucked up. Like, I can just tell that the vibes are off in this town.
Hmm.
So like, I just love that King is able to like, oh, here's this book that I wrote like way after, like, I don't know, like 40 years after it or whatever,
30,
like
30
30
something. Yeah.
years, yeah, and I still am able to like work it in there. And is also
Well,
able to like make other references to like, oh, the building where like the shooter uh you know
mhm.
lived, like that has a similar type of like dark energy to it as Derry had.
Fucking even like random shit. Again, another tangent.
Yeah,
So
sure.
I'm currently reading a book called The Talisman,
Hmm.
and there's a character in it named George Hatfield. I'm like, that name seems so familiar, and I looked it up. George Hatfield is the little kid that Jack Torrance beat up for slashing his tires
Yeah.
from the debate team.
Damn, yeah. I remember like when I read the book being like, oh man, they do a really good job making him seem more fucking unhinged of a guy in the book, that compared to the Stanley Kubrick movie, where like the moment that you see uh Jack Nicholson, he just looks like a crazy guy. So you're just like, it's not as like much of a descent, whereas like Jack Torrance in the book seems, he's so straight laced, but then you get these glimpses into his like point of view and like things that happened in his past, and you realize like he has problems, and
Mhm.
then that's kind of like the tragedy of that book.
We've got to cover that mini series they did in the '90s.
Yeah.
Uh, we'll get back to I almost called it Salem's Lot, Fright Night in a second.
Yeah.
Uh, so Stephen King wrote that miniseries based on The Shining. It's
Hmm.
directed by the guy who did Riding the Bullet.
Yeah, which was
And
a really fun movie.
but yeah, anyway, so let's see where are we at? Because yeah, I mean the movie it's very plot heavy. I would
Hmm.
feel like it's always like event happening to just kind of
Yeah.
progress the tension. I will say like it feels like things get moving really quickly because like within the first 15 minutes you already know like for sure that Jerry is a vampire.
Yeah.
He's attacking Charlie in his bedroom.
Hmm.
That was a really good like oh shit moment when Jerry's walking through the house and he like pulls the mom's bedroom door
Yeah.
frame.
That is really
It's
cool. Yeah, he
all of the
go ahead.
I was gonna say, all the visual effects, all the practical stuff is like really really great in this movie.
Yeah, it's so delightful. And I don't want to be too nostalgia poisoned. The '80s was the best, man. But like, there's nothing better. Like towards the end of the movie, when the sun comes up and he turns into his like bat form. What's better
Hmm.
than having a slimy puppet? Like what's better than having
Yeah.
a weird like the '80s just loved their slimy, fucked up puppets. It's just like we need to we need to go back in that one regard. Like that's the only thing. Everything else should
Hmm.
is fine. Well, okay, maybe not everything else is fine, but we definitely need to
I
go
know what you
back
mean.
to greasy puppets. We need to
Or
resurrect
like,
Jim Henson. We need to get another Dark Crystal movie. We just need
mhm.
ugly, slimy puppets.
Or how great was it when they finally killed I don't remember his name, like the equivalent of Renfield, his like
Mm-hmm.
human
Mm-hmm.
helper. When they
Oh
finally
my
kill him and
god.
he's like starts fucking melting.
Yeah, they.
It's so sick.
When
It's like
that's
Hellraiser.
yeah, sicko like that and Evil Ed, like his death. Both of them are
Hmm.
like, why did they do that? Like it's just so elaborate and insane, but awesome at the same time. That
It's
character is such a
you gotta talk
real
about it.
a real annoying guy that you just know in real life. Like he's just such a
Hmm.
he feels like such a like oh god, I've been you know I work late
It
nights with
doesn't
this
even
guy at or whatever.
it always feels like he's a character that or he's somebody that Charlie knows. This is not like Charlie's best friend. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
yeah, because like he has the nickname Evil Ed. There's like a point in the movie where he's like, "Come on, you got to help me, Evil," and then he gets like pissed off. He's like, "Stop calling me that." So it's like, yeah, I guess they're not friends. He's just like some fucking weird guy that he
Hmm.
knows. And like,
Um,
yeah, go ahead.
Fun fact: in the remake, I'm pretty sure Ed was played by McLovin.
Oh,
This would have like
cool.
this would have been like the peak of his career.
Yeah, because that was like 2010 or whatever when that remake came out. So,
Who else was in that? Oh, Jerry was rest in peace. Yelchin, he was great as
oh
well.
yeah, yeah.
Not Jerry, Charlie.
Yeah, yeah. The Anton. Yeah, yeah. Anton Yelchin. Man, I just realized like it's been almost 10 years since he passed away.
It's such
But
a shame.
yeah, Troll Hunters. That's a good show. But anyway, Fright Night. I do like the main character, Charlie Brewster. First of all, Brewster, great last name. Uh, Second, like he's not. I don't know. He maybe is kind of like a generic Bane character in this like Boy Who Cried Wolf sort of scenario.
Mhm.
I kind of have a hard time calling it that just because like it's not like he was lying at any point and then now nobody believes him. It's just what he's talking about is so ridiculous that it's hard to get anybody
Mhm.
to believe him, which was also a similar problem in like Salem Slot. It's just like a good uh, problem to have. It's like a very easy problem to have if you're doing like a modern vampire thing. Is that like everybody inherently thinks of vampires as something that's a fairy tale. So
Yeah.
when you bring it up, they have absolutely no frame of reference of like this could be real. Like they would think demons, like demonic possession and everything would be real. I mean, now that I said that, we do have to do The Exorcist at some point because I was
Mhm.
gonna compare it to like in The Exorcist where like the mom doesn't necessarily believe that she is a demon or is possessed by a
It's just like her
demon.
last resort.
It's yeah, exactly. She's just like, I don't know what the fuck is wrong with my daughter, and I'm terrified. So this is literally the only thing I have left to grasp onto, and that's like
I
it's like heartbreaking moment.
mhm. On the topic of Charlie, I will say like for the first probably up until like Jerry first confronts him in the bedroom, I was like, okay, I'm not really sold on
Yeah, me
the
too.
performance of this character. But I came to like the character and root for him. I think the moment that really got me to root for him was the first time he goes and talks to Peter and is like begging
Hmm.
him for help as he's like
Yeah,
Peter just gotten fired and he's certainly
yeah,
marking him
yeah,
off. Um,
yeah. And Peter Vincent, him and like that's such a good relationship where like you know, like frankly, Charlie does seem insane, like going up to this guy who is just like a,
Yes.
a TV host and being like, "Do you believe in vampires?" But like, obviously, again, it's like you're so desperate because this is after like the police blew him off, and his parents and even his like close friends and everything just like didn't really believe him, and he is like, he is 100% sure at this point that this guy's a fucking vampire. It's not like, oh, I saw him and maybe he had teeth, It's like he came into my house and had razor sharp claws and was like strangling.
He attacked me and I kicked and accidentally broke my pachinko machine that I have in my room for some reason.
That is cool as hell. And I love like him stabbing him through the hand, and then that like pissing Jerry off, like him pulling the pencil through his hand like the other way is just like gross. So disgusting. And then like him like morphing into like his more demonic form, and then like as they hear the mom banging on the door, you see him like slowly come down. Like very cool stuff. Again, like anything that like really plays into the grandiosity of like vampires as like these are like an eternal force of evil that have like existed, long before humans and will exist long after them. It's just like, that's super cool.
Yeah, another great moment from that scene is like we see Jerry. I'm gonna get those fucking names mixed because I feel like Jerry is a kid's name and Charlie is a grown man's
right,
name.
Yeah.
So there's a scene where Charlie, we see like preparing before because he knows Jerry's gonna come and try and kill him that night. He's like hammering nails into his windowsill, and then you see Jerry just with like the flick of one finger, it like just shoots the window up, and we see the nails that were like hanging out of the bottom of the board.
So, so good.
So many like little effective camera tricks, like as convincing as anything else that can be done.
Yeah, and they really do. Like this to me proves that the with the Salem's Lot movie, they decided to take like that vampire and turn it into more of like a snarling beast type thing, because they're like, we can't have it be like a Romanian guy, that's just too, like, that would be too ridiculous or whatever. It wouldn't be something that somebody would take seriously. I think they like found the perfect middle ground here with Jerry, where it's like he is a normal guy, but he like he's like a modern, American guy presumably. And he's not like a foreigner or somebody with like a Eastern European accent.
He's very suave.
Yeah, he's super, like we talked about before, he's super fucking hot. He's just like he has like the thrall, that he's able to like put on like Charlie's mom, and then even on like the like his two friends and everything.
People.
Yeah, and like that scene in the club where he's dancing with Amy.
It's one of my favorite scenes in the movie, honestly.
It is so cool that it keeps like cutting between like just her dancing by herself and then dancing with him, as if like, is he even there? Is anybody else like perceiving that he's there besides her? It's just like, it's so cool. Like you get like wrapped up into it. It's so like exhilarating and everything, and like terrifying at the same time.
All of the stuff at like the nightclub and like alleys with fog, it reminded me like of like Michael Mann's direction in Mindhunter.
Yeah.
Again, I think those are both, they're contemporaries. Same. Yeah, it was very sleek and stylish. Let's see what else.
I do want to talk about Peter Vincent specifically, because I think that he might be my favorite character.
He's the best character in the movie.
Yeah, like Ryan McDowell, one adorable guy. He's just like, not even just because I love Cornelius from Planet of the Apes, but it's just like he's just such a charming fellow.
He's so committed to the character, like he buys into like 100% like the script and everything.
Yeah.
This is just my reading of the character. I think Peter Vincent is good. To me, I would classify him as like a good role. It seems very, just the way Roddy McDowell plays him. It goes off on my guitar.
Yeah. Like he does have like a very, like he is very fussy in a similar way to like a C3PO, another like character that people are like, this is gay coded. And people have mentioned, I was reading this on Wikipedia here, that there's like a potential like gay reading for Jerry, in that like, he's a guy who like moves into the house, he has like a male companion, he, is like seducing these like young people and everything. Like obviously it's more of a predatory, interpretation of it, so maybe it's not like the best, but he is like, but he's not, even though deep down he's like a horrific monster, on the surface he's just like a handsome guy,
there's a seduction to even like when he like is converting Ed into a vampire.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think like, maybe there's some like homophobia like in that intrinsically, but overall, like I think that it's like, it's very interesting that there is like a lot of queer subtext with both like him as the antagonist and then Peter Vincent as like one of the protagonists. And he's just like, I immediately went to check if he's in Fright Night Part 2, and I was glad to see that he is, because I'm like, oh, thank you, because he's such a good fucking character. He's so entertaining and charming. I love it because like by the end of the movie, I am like, wait, has he actually killed vampires before, or was it just like an act? Because like at first I was like, oh, it's just an act, but then when he there's like some elements of it that make you second guess that he might.
I had the same thoughts. Like,
he
might be telling the truth.
So it's like, but then there's the moment where he holds the cross up to Jerry, and Jerry's like, you need to have faith for that to work. And either like, oh, he hasn't encountered it in so long that he's kind of like lost his way or lost his faith, or he was a fraud the whole time, which is fine. I think it's also cool, the idea that like he is just a fraud, and yet because of his job, as like a daytime television host or a nighttime television host, whatever, he just has all this like vampire killing props and everything, so he's able to like use them for that. That's super fucking cool as well, because again, it's like the belief that this will work is what makes it work. Just like if we have silver, we can kill it.
And plus, stories where like an actor is forced to like assume the actual like the qualities of their character they play is fun. Like what's the one where Tim Allen, like Star Trek washed about Galaxy Quest?
Yeah.
Like stuff like that. I'm sure there's other examples, but like things like that are just fun.
Not to go off on a huge tangent that is unrelated to this, but like in Mr. Satan and Dragon Ball, where he accidentally got credited as like the hero that beat Cell.
God, you're right.
And then like, it's like it's time skip, and like Gohan's in high school and the city is named after him, and he's like considered the world hero. But then as soon as another threat pops up, he's like, fuck, I didn't actually kill that guy. So now they think that I'm the world savior. But then he ends up befriending Majin Buu. So then he ends up being like, even though Buu like transforms and all this like crazy stuff happens throughout the latter part of the arc, because of the friendship that he made with him early on, he's able to still like get through to him and stop him from like wreaking havoc. And then
probably the best part of Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah, absolutely. Part. And then he's able, like when Goku needs energy for the Spirit Bomb, like they're like, who the hell is this guy? We're not going to give you energy. But then when he speaks to all the people on Earth, they're like, oh, of course we're going to give it to the world savior. That's just so brilliant to be like, the guy, his name is Mr. Satan. He's literally the great deceiver. And he's lying and taking credit for this battle, but all the heroes are like, thank you. We needed your help in order to beat this bad guy. It's just like, that's such a good, like, probably, like you said, one of the greatest character arcs in that series. So it just reminded, it was very similar to this, where like by the end, it doesn't matter if he was a fraud or not. Peter Vincent becomes a vampire
he
killer.
Still got the job done.
Yeah, like he does the job, and like you can see, even just killing Ed was like really fucked him up. Like he was like crying during that whole. It's a very excruciating death scene. Again, that's why I mentioned like,
Mhm.
damn, they did not have to go this hard. That being said, I did laugh and go, "Aw, big guy!" whenever the wolf showed up,
Oh
because
yeah,
it was
very
just,
cute dog.
I know,
It looks like the dog from the Lost Boys. It might even be the same fucking
yeah,
dog for all we know. Um,
yeah,
Speaking of, you had mentioned that how Charlie and Peter are both in the sequel. I'm pretty sure that's a movie that people actually like. I feel like I've heard good things about that sequel.
yeah. It's not like a Ghostbusters 2 where it kind of like wears out its welcome. It's more of a maybe like a Gremlins 2 where, or maybe not exactly like that, but just like a sequel that, like from one of these like iconic '80s movies that's like, oh yeah, this is good in its own way, or like just as good, or
And it's directed. Oh my gosh! Speaking of connections, so the sequel is directed by Tommy Lee Wallace, who did the
okay.
It miniseries,
Oh, cool.
Halloween 3: Season of the Witch.
Oh, awesome. That is, I
So
mean,
that movie actually probably is like pretty good.
yeah. We gotta talk about some of the Halloween movies, obviously. I mean, we probably will talk about just the original Halloween before getting to three, just like with The Exorcist, where like I really do want to watch Exorcist 3, but maybe we shouldn't do two, but we should definitely at least do one
Well,
before talking about three.
yeah, I think one, three, and then I want to, because I think I showed you the first of the new trilogy movies. I think that those would be worth covering too, just because I would say they're interesting to talk about.
Yeah,
Um,
like Halloween Kills and Halloween Ends
and
or whatever. Yeah. Um, yeah, because we watched, I think all of the classic movies. I think all of them, right? Like
watched,
even up to H two
we
O.
watched, we skipped three, watched all the way up until Rob Zombie's Halloween 2.
Yes, which I only remember like there's a horse in it. That's like in like
You and Broden hated.
yeah. Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. Yeah, I don't know how I'd feel about it now, but I just remember it being like I did like the first one. I do think it's like bit weird that like so much of the movie is spent on Michael Myers as like a child, just because it's people have said it, but it kind of depletes the mystery of the shape, and
Yeah,
kind of like
but
turns him into but I do like the idea if they're gonna do something, if they're gonna do a remake, then to do it differently and try to make a modern version of it, especially because I mean, he wouldn't know it, but that kind of character would become very, prescient in the minds of American
mhm.
students. It's like that kind of like crazed serial killer or school shooter type, is, that like it
Yeah, no,
predates it by a few years, like the real like drop into
the
darkness
epidemic.
that we experienced. But like,
Hmm.
yeah, I feel
No,
like
no,
it kind of makes sense to do that in like a 2008 context.
no, for sure. Like, it is a weird choice, but like the best scenes in that movie are Dr. Loomis's therapy sessions with young Michael. Like,
Hmm.
that's the best part of the movie, I'd say.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that they do a good job like making it like very unnerving and very uncomfortable, like his psychopathy like as a child. um but what the
You're saying Michael did this?
yeah. Yeah.
Uh, that mm, that brings back some
Yeah.
memories.
um
Some people we would make fun of. Anyway.
yeah. That's good. But yeah, what else is there to talk about before we wrap it up? Uh,
not, not too much. It's just a really solid little movie. It's
yeah,
definitely worth watching, and I'm glad that I checked it out.
yeah, it was a blast. You know, it's one of those movies where like you just sit down and you watch it and you stay engaged basically the whole
Mhm.
time. Like yeah, that like I am surprised how quickly it gets into it though. Like maybe like the first 10 minutes, it's just kind of like very pedestrian arguing between the main character and his girlfriend.
Like,
Uh,
I'm so sure that that remake really draws out that first act and makes it take like at least 30 minutes.
hmm. Yeah, and then once yeah, Jerry attacks him in like the his bedroom, it is like, oh, this is on. This guy is cool as fuck, and he's just like doing all this stuff, and then like yeah, there's just so many good fucking scenes in it, and then yeah, it doesn't end on as much of a downer like this town is fucked note as Salem's Lot does. You know,
Oh yeah,
they're able to like actually eliminate the threat and save the day for the most part. You know, with the deaths of a few people, obviously, still leaving it so that it
it,
has consequence.
there is one more thing. There is the little sequel teaser, which I don't believe is followed up in the sequel, because I remember like in the back of my mind for the last 20 minutes, I'm like, what about Ed's dead body in Charlie's house? And then
Yeah, yeah. I was like, because even if they're able to explain some of the other stuff away, as in like, oh, those guys like moved away because their bodies turned into dust, so there's no real evidence of
Mhm.
their bodies, so they can't be like, oh, we murdered them. But like Ed's body was just like, he didn't turn to dust or anything. He's just dead, and then presumably when like he died, you see like the cross leave his forehead, like the cross mark on his forehead leaves, so he just reverts back to like a human body.
Yeah,
Um,
that's why they thought they could save him, which
yeah,
they do. They're successful.
yeah. So it's actually kind of like a complete plot hole and nonsensical that that he's still alive at the end with that. So I just ignore that happened.
Okay,
You know.
it's like the end of I Know What You Did Last Summer. That last scene where he jumps out at Julie.
Yeah,
Well, that's not-
yeah. That was super stupid. I just gotta say the just because
Mhm.
we talked about in that episode that he's kind of just like a lame villain in general, but just the idea where it's like how much fucking punishment can this like normal
I
guy
know,
take?
and they didn't even do anything that bad.
Yeah. Which we talked about is like they just
It was an
kind of hurt
accident.
him, you know. And then he's like, well, I guess I gotta hunt these guys down and fucking kill them. So eh.
Anyway,
This was a good movie
well,
though. So
yeah. Well, what are we covering next time?
ooh, I've been thinking what we were going to cover. I have a couple ideas in mind. Um because I was thinking, I was thinking of other things that are kind of like horror movies, but not really horror movies, I guess. But
Mhm.
uh, because there are some things where I'm like, okay, we should just do this movie and then no other movie in the series. So I was between Alien and Terminator for that, because
Ooh, I've actually,
those are both horror movies, but then their sequels are more action focused. Obviously, like there's action in both of them, especially with Terminator, but like
I've
Terminator is
actually
way
been
more like a slasher movie. Yeah,
I've been wanting to bring Terminator up to you actually
yeah.
to ask if he wants to do it. So
I think that we should do it. I think we should do
yeah,
the first
fuck it,
Terminator. Yeah.
awesome.
So maybe we won't do T2, even though I love T2. But
Mhm.
it's not really a horror movie. It's a cool as fuck movie. So, but yeah, like, what's a better horror movie to do than one where it was like literally inspired by the nightmares of James Cameron. So that's
Mhm.
why I think that I think it totally counts. So yeah, we'll go with that. We'll do Alien
Absolutely.
at some point in the future for sure. But
Maybe as we get closer to that new TV show coming out, that will be a 6 out
right,
of 10 maybe.
fuck, I do need to watch the new Alien movie because people said it was good. Uh,
Hmm.
because I didn't really care for the last couple.
Me neither.
Prometheus and Alien Covenant, I was not like big fan of either of those. Though there are people that are like really Prometheus pilled now. They're all like, "Oh, that movie is good. You should go back and rewatch it."
It's I think it's more a case of Alien Covenant was so bad
Right?
that people realized that at least Prometheus was like trying to do something,
Yeah, it
which
was.
you
It had
cannot
like
say that about Covenant.
yeah, it had like a unique vector for the the universe of this series. But yeah, but all right, yes, we're doing Terminator next time. Cody, where can we find you on the internet?
You can find me here on my YouTube channel, just my name, Cody J. Briscoe. That same name can lead you to find my IMDb page where you can find out the film projects I've been involved in. Some of them have been released, some of them are coming out and streaming later this year. You can find me on Twitter, and like always, getting my comments, mostly nonsense talking about American Dad, Power Rangers, guys that I find hot.
Oh yeah, how far are you into American Dad?
So I haven't watched the first three seasons, but I've seen
Okay.
4, 5, and 6, and I'm like 6 episodes into season 7.
I would say that that's totally fine that you didn't see the first three seasons. Like, go rewatch them if you feel compelled to, but that's a show that just gets better as it goes on, like after the
I
first couple
figured.
seasons. So, and then like it does get to some like really funny and crazy shit as it goes on. I probably haven't seen it since like season 9 or 10, but I know that it was very funny. It was like it was the easy thing to be like, oh, Family Guy sucks, but American Dad is still good. Um,
But it's true though.
yeah, yeah. But I did want to say that there's somebody that I follow on Twitter that has chronically extremely bad movie taste and just takes on media in general. And I was keeping this in mind because he was like, "Oh man, I'm so hyped to check out Jurassic World Rebirth earlier tonight." And he just got out of the movie theater and said that I actually enjoyed it. It's a lot of fun. Meanwhile, this is a movie that I've seen everybody else say like this is the worst Jurassic Park movie. so so it's just very funny.
It's
Jurassic Park, does that count? I don't know if it counts.
I'd say that's more adventure movie.
Yeah, just
There's a couple scary scenes, but
yeah, I feel like maybe the book you could say is more horror just because like they describe the like terror of being hunted by like these feral animals a lot
yeah.
better. But like yeah, it is more of a like speculative fiction sci-fi kind of thing than it
I,
is like
I
horror.
I gotta say, and then you can tell our audience where we can find you.
Sure, yeah,
The
yeah.
fact that the fact that the new Jurassic movie is so bad is shocking because I was like, man, at the very least, you don't have to deal with fucking Chris Pratt and
That's
Bryce
true.
Dallas Howard anymore. The fact that they're not even in it and it's still that bad is like, wow.
Yeah. I mean, yes, Scarlett Johansson, right, is in
I
the.
mean, everyone loved her in Ghost in the Shell. She's so good.
Of course, yeah, she was
Yeah.
extremely good. And then our favorite character from the MCU, just great. Everybody loves her. Anyway, find me on Twitter and Blue Sky at WazRanger, WAZP Ranger. It's mostly stream of consciousness stuff, but I do post about videos I'm making and podcasts I'm doing. My main podcast is Cartoon Buffoons. Go on over to my channel, It's Only Magic. You can get it there for free. If you want to check it out a week early, you can go on over to the Patreon. Also, It's Only Magic, $3. Bam. You can get the episode a week early. And if you only got $1, that's fine. You can still get Wow Cool Robot, which is me and my friend Wayne going through every single robot in existence. It's a lot of fun. It's like 5 to 10 minute episodes. We review everything from like, Gundams to Transformers to Wall-E to, Rob from Nintendo. We just do a bunch of robots. We do Tobor. Does anybody know Tobor?
Yep.
Uh,
Have you done Johnny Five?
Yes, we've done Johnny Five.
Yeah.
Yep. And that we've done like so many robots that look like Johnny Five because we did Wally, we did Rob, So yeah, but anyway, join us next time. We're gonna talk about Terminator. See you there.
Peace out.